music feels very appropriate for what we are about to do tonight. We have 4 players that will be going straight to Code S, and 4 of them are falling down to the up and downs. We have epic matches today. I am Wolf, with me as Caldor, and this is the GSL Code A.
We already had 3 players earlier today who advanced to Code S, and now we are waiting for the last 4 here in our afternoon session, and it's going to be really exciting. As Wolf mentioned, we have really strong matchups. The 2 last games of the day are going to be Flash up against Avenge, a player who was able to not only leave an impression in his former Code A groups, but also do a really good job at the GSTL. And of course, we also have MKP up versus Life, a really exciting best of 3.
It's going to be really exciting to see. Effort is playing as well.
That is such a cool storyline with Effort. Feel a little bit more with Trap, because he was able to take down so many Zerg players, one of them being Curious, the other one being Sniper, and now he's up against Effort. Trap is Zerg killer these days. He also defeated a lot of them in the earlier runs. So now he's up against another Casper Zerg, and this is going to be such an intense game. It's crazy.
For me, I'm really excited about Avenge. Can he actually overcome Flash? He was looking really strong. Looking good in the team league. Now coming to the individual league, just not losing. And also don't forget about Hurricane, who's up against Shine. He got an all-kill in the GSTL. This is his first chance to potentially be in Code S. He's never really been the individual league guy. He's kind of been like the wild card of his FX Open team.
Exactly. He's the sniper in the team league for his team, but now we have him with a chance to advance to Code S. As you can see, here are the match results of our earlier round. We had Flying with a 2-1 against Crazy, Hiva taking out Yoda in a very quick series, and then Supernova succeeding over Creator. Tasia vs Squirtle, a game that we did not have to watch because Tasia withdrew. He's going to participate overseas in the next season of WCS. Squirtle therefore advances to Code S. So really exciting games already, but I feel the next round of matches are going to be even better.
Yeah, I could not agree more. This is going to be so sick. And we talked about the matches already, but let's just debrief them again. Hurricane versus Shine, Trap versus Effort. And later on, of course, Avenge versus Flash. That is going to be awesome. And Marine King versus Life to round out the night.
Avenge seems to be feeling really comfortable in the role of the underdog. He already took down players like Fantasy, did well in the GSTL. Flash, a huge favorite in the series. But still, Avenge might have some strategy up his sleeve that Flash is not prepared for.
Exactly. We saw Avenge very aggressive in his previous series against the Terran. Our starting match is going to be Hurricane versus Shine. Look at Hurricane's record. He's only played 2 televised matches in the individual league, not a whole lot. But, you know, he could very well actually get into Code S just from winning this.
Yeah, Hurricane is a preparation player. He's a player that excels at preparing builds for his opponent, and he had a lot to study. Shine participated in Code S, went to the round of 16 where he finally lost and dropped down to Code A. So there's a lot of material where Hurricane can have a good look at. And Shoya talked to us earlier, and he said that he feels his player is going to take this easy peasy today. He thinks that Hurricane is ready, that there is no doubt in his mind that he will defeat Shine.
Yeah, Choya very much in a good mood today, and seems very confident. But, you know, Choya is always the guy who comes to support his players. He's not alone. He always brings a few of the other players along, too.
Definitely true. And I mean, Shine is a strong opponent. It's not like Shine is a pusher or anything. He has been around in Starcraft for a little bit as all of the Casper players, and he has really left an impression in the last few rounds. It was his first Code S season. He was doing very well here. He has to play the 3rd round of Code A now to go back to Code S, has to win this match against Hurricane. But Hurricane really impressed in the GSTL with an all-kill. Now he is playing in the individual league. Can he do it? Can he pull through against Shine? We're going to find out right now. Map number 1 is Daybreak here, the GSL Code A with Carl and Wolf. Starting to the bottom left of the map, we have our ESF Protoss player. Starting for Team FX Open, it is
FXO Hurricane.
Hurricane just performed an all-kill against NS Hosa in the GSTL, winning against Salvation, Tacita, Jakji, and Sanai. Now he's playing in the individual league against his opponent to the top right. Dropping down from Code S, we have
Samsung-kan Shine.
In the round of 32, Shine performed really well. He advanced, being the 2nd in his group together with Symbol. Shine was able to win against Keen, and he also took out Squirtle, who is now back in Code S after he did not have to play his 3rd round match against Tasia, who is going overseas very soon. And right now we have Shine trying to sneak in with a probe. A little bit of a detour here.
Yeah, he took a little bit of a weird path. And he will get to the main base now. Looks like he was considering doing something, but didn't go for the Forge, so he's just going to go Nexus first here, and force Shine actually to go Pool first, as you can see as well. Looks like Shine was considering going Hatch first.
You know what I actually think what happened here? I think that Hurricane tried to dodge a very, very popular scouting pattern with the Overlord. And the one thing that you always look out for as a Zerg player is if your opponent sends out a probe. If you don't see a probe in your main base or coming up your ramp, you are very likely to drop that hatch first. And as you already said, it looked like Shine wanted to do it. And in that case, Hurricane could have moved in with a probe and went for a cannon.
Yeah, absolutely so.
So I think that was the thought process here, trying to hide the probe for as long as possible, but then he saw it with a drone, and therefore we don't see a cannon attack here, but instead a Nexus first for the FXO Protoss.
And in this case, the probe does not make a pylon. He just sticks around until the last second. He goes for the faster Forge. Pool is finished as he can come in here and scout. He wants to see if there's any gases. As there's not, he knows that he can very easily expand here, and he's not going to have to worry about any sort of early speed pressure.
Yeah, with Shine, we now would expect to see a third base very early in the game, roughly at 4:20, because we have that, not that gateway opening, we have a Forge opening for Hurricane, and therefore Shine knows that he can take his normal base.
You know, Hurricane's hiding that probe over there, and this is going to be really cool because with this, you know, he knew there was no Overlord natural. He checked that when his probe was flying around. Then he knew that nothing was going in between the bases, so when he left the main base and the hatchery wasn't done, didn't have enough vision, he knew he could actually get away with this. So he's going to either get a great scout a few minutes later, or he could even try to make a pylon and do something with this.
We've seen this in the past several times where a player manages to hide a probe in his opponent's main base, it goes unscouted, and then you have these two options. You can either go for a later scout and see exactly what the Zerg player does, or you can just hide it in the corner, and when you realize, well, nothing's happening, he doesn't scout me, there's no Overlord, you can drop that pylon, and then suddenly everything goes just south for the Zerg player, who has to deal with the Zealots that are moving into a spot where he doesn't expect it at all.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, you know, his core's going down. We'll find out what he wants to do with this probe soon enough. He's probably just going to use it for a scout because that's the safest thing to do. But, you know, Hurricane in the past has shown resourcefulness. You know, he takes opportunities and runs with them.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen here is that he leaves the probe in this position for as long as possible. As soon as it's detected, he will try to get into the main base to get those scouting information. But if he nears completion with the warp gate research, I feel when he realizes, well, you are not going to see that, he's probably going to drop a couple of additional gateways and try to make the best of it.
Yeah, would not be surprised. Zealot's coming out here to scout a little bit, which, since he has the probe in the main base, I guess he feels comfortable doing. Yeah. We have seen players like MC die actually by sending these units out early on, not knowing about slowing attacks.
Yeah. And Shine goes for this third base. He has a normal timing for his third base, doesn't hesitate here at all. He knows that it's very unlikely that Hurricane is moving out with an early aggression, starting with a Forge first build. So gas now being taken by the Samsung Khan Zerg player. And the Zealot just moving out a little bit, trying to get control. And here we have those additional gateways that we've been talking about. 3 in total. He's gonna try it. He's gonna drop the pylon in the main base and gonna try for the 4-gate.
He also has denied any sort of scout of his gateways. He hasn't taken the gases, now he takes them, but this is one thing that Shine was able to see is those gases seem a little bit late. He's starting a few Zerglings right now. Not, you know, anything crazy, nothing overreacting. He's going up to 8 Zerglings, but he's going to need a lot more than that, and it all depends on how much larva he has when the attack comes. He just use a bunch of larva for drones. Yeah,
the big problem really is that with the scouting pattern that we've seen out of Shine, he doesn't expect this. He has scouted everywhere where we normally see the pylon. He has units at the front to see when there's a probe moving out, and he didn't see anything, so he assumes there's nothing that can damage him in any way. And Warpgate research is close to finishing, so the probe's still not active, and we will soon see this pylon.
Yeah, I'll probably make 2 just to be safe. Lair is started, Mothership Core on the way as well. And he chrono boosts that Warpgate research. The probe still not making a pylon just yet. Yeah. Macro Hatch goes down, as well as a Roach Warren and Evolution Chamber.
Also waiting for the +1 attack upgrade, of course, that we currently see halfway completed. Now we have the Roach Warren coming in at 750, and also the first Evolution Chamber. Speed is on his way, so far without it, taking a 3rd base here, and there's the pylon.
And you know what? If he does this correctly, he can actually warp in 2 rounds of units or so before he even shows the units at his pylon.
Especially since he's now scouted. The sentry being taken out here. Great reaction by Shine. Having a quick look at what is being warped in here. And now the gateways are ready.
Yep, they're ready. +1 getting closer. He just used that warp in at his 3rd base, so he has to wait a few more seconds.
But +1 will line up perfectly with this attack.
This is so good for Hurricane. I hope that he waits, and it looks like the way he's put these Zealots in, he is going to wait.
And the Overlord Seed. The Overlord Seed just barely. He sees what's coming, but does he realize it on the minimap? Yes, he does. He's moving up with the Zerglings.
Don't forget, though, there's another attack going to the third base at the same time with a Mothership Core, so we will be able to recall if things go sour there.
+1 is done.
The Lings run away, and you know what? This could do so much damage. He's got another pylon over here towards the third base.
I'm not sure if the Zerg player can handle this. Here comes the attack at the third. There's the Mothership Core. He can always recall out. He has the +1 attack upgrade already for the Zealots. Another round of warp-ins is possible in the main base now. So much trouble here for Shine, who has to deal with this attack at 2 fronts.
Yep, the Roach is coming out in the main base, helping him out quite a bit, but he's going to trap these immediately with that force field. Overlord's coming out to die here, and he could try to target down the hatch.
Look at the money here for Shine. He's trying to get rid of all those resources, and those injects just popped a second ago, but now the third base is being attacked. The pylon in the main base will go down, but so will the third base here.
Well, he almost loses his Mothership Core to that Spore Crawler. That was really close, but he saves it. Now he can recall after he kills the hatchery. Beautifully done.
Oh wow, this is not Ohana, where no man is left behind. He leaves 3 Zealots there to die to the Roaches. Have been a little bit too cheeky, but that attack was of course beautiful and so well executed.
Yeah, killing the hatchery is huge. It's really important that Shine had that macro hatchery, because without it, this would have been much more difficult. But remember, during all this, Hurricane has a third base. This was not all in. This was not even as huge of an investment as it would have been without that pylon in the main.
Oh yeah, he traded really well in the main base. With a +1 attack upgrade, the Zerglings alone couldn't do anything. He has to block though. Oh, great force field! That is the perfect force field donut. This is beautiful, trapping everything.
And, you know, he burrows, but there's a cannon, so it doesn't matter. But these Roaches might be a big problem.
The Roaches are moving in, but he has 1 Immortal. He has to shield the Immortal and get close enough to deal out damage, and he does it. Another beautiful donut here. He's trapping so many units. This is excellent play by Hurricane.
Those force fields were so good. I don't think that there could have been better force fields in that situation. He made the best of it. His force fields during his attack as well against the Queens using the hatchery, he was very energy efficient. And that's part of the reason why he had so many force fields left when he came back after the recall.
Yeah. I've seen force fields like this executed by players like Squirtle and Seed when he was in his prime, but this was just really, really well done. And now the Zerg in so much trouble, rebuilding that third base, trying to go for a Spire transition. But the third base is there. He has nothing at this third to defend though. He has to warp in a few more units. Those cannons won't be enough.
He warps in 2 Stalkers to buy time. He knows he's basically giving them away for free, but he has to do something. He doesn't want to lose his probes. And the cannon just buys barely enough time for the rest of the army to arrive. The Mothership Core is here. He can use the overcharge if he wants to, and he does it.
Tia is on his way, he's moving in, and now there's the burrow. He needs to get some detection, and the Observer is already on its way.
These Lings will probably get in here. He does not have a warp-in ready.
That's a big problem. That should not have happened. He got a little bit too sloppy there. The run by at the natural doing damage. Another set of Lings already in the main base. Shine is really determined to turn things around. The start was awesome for Hurricane, but now Shine is mixing things up quite a bit.
He quite certainly is. One thing that's really important too is that he sees the Stargate in the main base, so he knows there's a transition there. Warp Prism trying to do a little bit here in the main base, not too much getting done.
Yeah, Hurricane has to be careful that he's not getting too cute here. He lost 15 Harvesters, and he's still in a good position on the same amount of Harvesters as his opponent, transitioning into double Stargate now, getting the +2 attack upgrade. Even catching a few Overlords here. That was Stray with a waypoint that was still set to the bottom left.
That was a mistake. He's going to kill, like, I think 4 Overlords there. That was a lot.
I mean, he has to be careful, but you know, I still like his position, being on 3 bases, being the one who initiates most of the attacks so far. He is looking at a really strong economy. The question really is, what can he do with this army that is moving out now towards the third base of his opponent?
The third base still has those cannons up, but he's going to need another warp-in of units, just like we saw before. Robotic support by going up. Meanwhile, he's also kind of boosting out Phoenixes.
It's really difficult for him to... he was moving back. I'm not quite sure if that is really the best choice here. He's gonna lose this Nexus, I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna go down if he targets it, and he does. I don't think there's any way he can save it. Even the probes are fighting here, but it's not gonna matter.
You know, I'm not quite sure if it was the right choice to move back with the army. He might have tried to hit the third base and do damage on his own. Trade blow for blow. That's something that he didn't do here, and if he can't catch those Roaches, it will be all for naught.
Yeah, and you know, he almost had enough energy for recall, so he could have moved out, and then as soon as he got to the third base, recalled back, perhaps.
Phoenixes are being produced, and he needs them against all those Mutalisks, but the Mutalisks will hit the main base before there are enough Phoenixes to deal with them.
And don't forget about +3 is on the way, so he does have really good upgrades, but dealing with these Mutas, like you said, going to be the biggest problem, and he's supply blocked right now. He's chrono boosting Phoenixes, but they're not coming out until the probes die.
Hurricane with a great start into the game, but right now it is the Zerg player who calls the shots. He's trying to take down the Atosis pylon, and he's able to pull it off. Everything unpowered.
Everything, including the Stargates. This is a big problem. He's losing the Phoenix hit points. there, almost loses the entire Phoenix. One Stargate still powered will actually... The Phoenix, if he doesn't control it well, die instantly. There he goes.
And now he can just get more and more of his Mutalisks, sending them into the main base. The 2 Phoenixes are still there, are heavily damaged already, and with good micro, he should be able to take those down. Hurricane knows that at this point, the only thing that he can do is move out and attack. He's trying to be aggressive here, but he has to kill Shine with the army that is already on the map.
I think it's time for him to start spamming cannons at his natural while he does this, because there's no way he's going to actually... I mean... He can't warp and use defend. He could try here. He's got 1 cannon, but...
Shine, on the other hand, does he really have what it takes to take down this army? That's the main question. There are a lot of units, a lot of force fields available, and you are right. With a lot more cannons, maybe Hurricane can hold his 3rd base, and that's what he's... Or the natural, that's what he's trying to do right now. The 3rd is already gone, so now the natural is being the point of attention for the Zerg. But the cannons, will they really finish in time?
It doesn't look like it. He needs to start some cannons at his 3rd base then. If he's not going to hold these, he's going to try to buy some time with that Zealot, but how much time can he really buy? This cannon should be cancelled.
Yeah, the Zealot's doing a decent amount of damage, but the problem really is that against those Mutalisks, they are not enough, and the cannons are already down. Yes, the main base of Shine is gonna fall as well. The space trade that we have is so close, but there are not enough cannons at any structure for the Protoss player.
Yeah, it's true. He's only got a few cannons over here, and more Warpins going down in this Warp Prism. He doesn't really have... I mean, probes does he have left? He has none. He lost every single probe, so the buildings you see are the buildings you get.
This is an elimination race, and the Zerg player has a much more mobile force than his opponent. The Stalkers and the Immortals still alive, but structure after structure is being attacked. He can still recall, though.
Yeah, until that Nexus is dead, which it's getting very close to being. This is his last chance. Does he recall some of his units back? He has to make a choice in just a few seconds.
He should recall, and he does.
Recalls.
Oh, no! Oh, at the natural. Okay.
Oh.
Still...
For a moment there, I thought all of his units were just going to disappear.
Being sucked into the vacuum and never appear again. But yeah, for a second I really thought there was no Nexus left at the natural. But
yeah,
now,
same here.
Now he's guarding his buildings, and he's in a position where he took down every single hatch of his opponent. Shine is trying to build another base to the top left right now. Hurricane, does he have any additional probes?
He has no probes.
Not a single one, and he's supply blocked.
Yeah, see, the thing is, if he weren't supply blocked, he could make a probe at his natural and then start pylons, but he can't do anything until he loses, you know, like 3 sentries. Maybe he can make a probe that way, but, you know, he's got one queued up right now, but getting his economy back on track is likely never going to happen.
Now a few Zerglings spawning in his main base, he has to take those out. He still has observers on the map, right?
He has 1, and his opponent does not have a lair, obviously, so he can't snipe that yet. But he probably will make a spawning pool and then go right into the lair as soon as that base to the top left finishes.
So now we are in a scenario where Hurricane has to defend, and he wants to get his economy up again, if he possibly can, or find an angle to attack his opponent. The big problem for him really being that there is also another base being built now for his Zerg opponent, and the much mobile force. All those Mutalisks are just so valuable to Shine.
I just don't see there's any way Hurricane wins this game, because, I mean, he's going to try for it, but he doesn't have enough units to split. I think the Mutas can actually fight this army that he left at the natural.
He's realizing now, I feel, that there has to be not only another base, but maybe even 2. His opponent wasn't revealed, so he knows. But this is going to be very close. I mean, a misstep by Shine can cost him the game here, of course.
Yeah, it definitely can. If he loses all of his Harvesters, for example, he saved all his Overlords, so he can actually just, you know, mine and use his resources now. He needs to restart his tech. He needs to start a spawning pool. He needs to get, you know, that lair back up. Maybe even start another Spire. There's the spawning pool.
It's going to take quite some time for him to get a decent tech here, but as you can already see with the hallucination, he knows about one of the bases. He knows about both by now.
Yeah. And he's moving out. The Mutas are very far away from Hurricane's actual base, so, you know, this could be his moment. He just has to hope that he has enough anti-air when the Mutas come back, because they are going to come back. He burrows the drones really smartly here.
Hurricane finds himself in such a tense situation given how this game started. I cannot believe this actually happened. And here come the Mutalisks. They are moving in. The Guardian Shield is up. He's going for a Time Void, God knows why. And at the same time, everything dies to the Mutalisks. There's just not enough on here.
There's not enough. And yeah, he kills the hatchery, but it's not worth it because he can just instantly restart another one. He has 1,000 resources, and I think Hurricane is just out of luck in this game. There's not much left he can do here.
I don't think he can win this anymore. The Mutalisks alone will rip him to shreds. And you know, there is no mining. That's something that Shine, of course, knows by now. This is a situation where Hurricane had a huge lead in the game, but the decisions that he made later on in the match cost him at least map 1.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, Hurricane's hoping he loses some units so he can make one probe. I mean, that's the situation we're in right now.
That forward pile that we had early in the game definitely allowed him to take down that third base, putting so much pressure on Dushine. But then the decision to move back every single time and not go for the counter-aggression, that was not really what he wanted.
Yeah,
he
right.
ran into too many run-bys, he didn't detect them early, he had no units out on the map to see those roaches approaching, and then he moved back even though their units would never be able to reach his third base in time. Here's the GG, Shine taking game number 1, and Hurricane showing a lot of promise here, but in the end, it just was not enough.
Yeah, not enough, and Shine just making the better choices with this Mutalisk. You know, the Mutalisk surprised him a little bit, you know, especially when he first came into the main base. There was not a lot of defense set up there. He tried to go into the Phoenixes. He expected, you know, that the Mutalisk transition was possibly going to happen.
Choya probably talking to him right now and just telling him, listen buddy, relax, you had this game, that was your map, your game, you did everything right up to the point where you kind of messed it up a little bit with your army movement, but your start was good, you had a good economy, you were on 3 bases, you had good decisions going, especially of course that hidden probe, you did the best out of the situation as it was, but being down one map after such a game, that must be really frustrating.
Yeah, but you know, he can bounce back for sure. It's just, if it matters how much that gets into his head or not.
Yeah, one of the big problems here is definitely that I feel, you know, having this the pawn pile in the main base and doing this, we had a situation where he was kind of granted, I don't want to say a free win, but such a good starting position that throwing that away is probably really gnawing at him.
Yeah, and you know, he barely... Thing is, the pylon was scouted just barely, but if he wasn't, you know, he could have even had more there, and he's got to be having a few emotions to grip with right now.
The problem really being for Shine that even though he saw the pylon, he saw it too late. The Zerglings were already up against +1 Zealots. There were not enough roaches to deal with the aggression at the third base and the main, so he loses his base. For a Zerg player, never a pleasant position.
Yeah.
But then, even though he built a few cannons at his third, Hurricane really messed up his defense.
Yeah, that was just a really big problem for him, and you know, I feel like if he had just spammed cannons at his third base, the farthest one away, then maybe he could have killed more of the Lings and Mutas. Obviously, the Lings and Mutas would have eventually killed his cannons, but he would have traded better there. It would be, you know, having a game where it's not maybe 16 Mutas or so at the end, but maybe like 12 or so, and it could have been much better there.
Shine just showing in this match that he has outstanding multitasking, and that his multitasking is a lot better than Hurricane's, at least in game number 1. So he was able to hit this third base over and over again, have a few units defending his own third, and once he had the Mutalisk, it was really a very tough situation for Hurricane to deal with. He had to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Was a little bit too late placing down those cannons at his natural. I feel that is something that he might have... You know, if that was it would have been Parting. I feel Parting would have placed down as many cannons as possible when he saw those Mutalisks and be like, okay, this is going to be a base race. I need to cannon it up now.
I completely agree. I think that was the only thing he could have done, really, once we were at that point where the Mutas surprised him. You know, with more cannons and he actually gets away with the attack, maybe that could have worked.
Yeah. Shine with a very smart play, the right decisions in this game, good decision-making by the Samsung Khan Zerg player. And Hurricane with a lot of promise, especially in the early game, but he needs to be able to transition a little bit more into the later stages of the match. Always one of those things that people criticized about his style, but especially his builds are excellent. We could see this once again in game number 1. On Whirlwind, we might see something completely different from the Protoss player. This is the map that he has to win if he wants to bring it to a third game. You have the GSL Code A, Hurricane versus Shine with Colin.